Across deserts, jungles, forests, and plains, there are ancient echoes of war, but not all warriors stood on two legs. Some galloped, some soared, some crawled under cover of darkness. For thousands of years, indigenous peoples across the world forged bonds with animals, not just as companions, but as comrades in arms. In this episode, we journey across continents, from the Americas to Africa, from India to Arabia, from Aboriginal Australia to pre-Christian Europe, to uncover the lost history of animals in indigenous warfare. Before the Spanish arrived, no horses thundered across the Great Plains. But within a century, the horse had transformed native warfare into something nearly mythical. The Comanche, called the Lords of the Plains, bred horses not just for speed but for agility. They trained stallions to respond to touch alone, no reins needed in the heat of battle. Horses were war paint in motion. Entire societies evolved around mounted tactics. Raiding rival tribes, launching lightning-fast retreats, or even fighting while hanging off the sides of a galloping steed. But horses were more than weapons. They were family. Warriors mourned their fallen steeds with the same grief they reserved for kin. One Lakota horseman once spoke of this sacred bond, a partnership of spirit and survival. "My horse, swift like the wind, heard my heart before my voice. He turned when I thought, ran when I feared, and died when I lived. In his eyes, I saw the thunder of the ancestors." To many, elephants are majestic. But in the hands of India's indigenous kingdoms, they were juggernauts, literally. The Bhils, the Gonds, and other forest-dwelling tribes in central India had long histories of domesticating elephants for combat. In Mughal and Rajput warfare, trained war elephants were armored, sometimes intoxicated before battle, and unleashed to smash enemy lines. Some carried towers, archers perched atop them like ancient tanks. Others trampled infantry with chilling precision. Some warriors believed the soul of the elephant would carry the warrior's courage into the next world. To the Gond people, the elephant was not a beast of burden, but a brother in arms. He was not a beast. He was my wall, my storm, my God. I fed him with rice, I spoke to him with song. When the drums beat, he walked beside me, not behind. In the vast silence of the desert, the falcon became a blade of the wind. Among Bedouin tribes, falconry was more than hunting, it was strategy. Falcons were used to harass enemy food supplies, scout movements, and train warriors in patience, timing, and control. In pre-Islamic and medieval skirmishes, a falcon's sudden dive could mark the signal to strike. Falcons weren't just birds, they were omens. They brought pride, precision, and terror. A Bedouin falconer once captured this bond in words sharper than any talon. "The falcon waits in silence longer than any man. When he dives, he speaks death. I learned war from his wings, to strike without fear, and vanish without glory." In the highlands of Ethiopia, the forests of Congo, and the Sahel of West Africa, warriors marched not alone, but beside dogs bred for battle. The Zulu trained dogs to sniff out enemy scouts and alert impis of ambushes. In Benin and Ida Kingdom, dogs guarded royal compounds and acted as last-line defense during palace coups. In Saharan Africa, tribes used hounds to disrupt enemy supply caravans. Dogs were more than defense, they were spirit-bound protectors. Many believed dogs could sense what the warrior could not: hidden threats, ancestors near, death coming. Among the Zulu, one warrior paid tribute to his fallen companion. "My dog knew when death was coming. He growled before the spear flew, barked before the ambush. We buried him beside me. He was warrior, same as I." The Aboriginal people of Australia waged war not with conquest, but with silence, tracking, and the land itself. Yet even here, animals walked with warriors. Dingoes were companions, not conscripts, but they had roles in tracking, night alerts, and spiritual warfare. Some tribes believed dingoes guided spirits in war. Their howls were omens. Their eyes, windows into dreamtime. An Aboriginal tracker once described the dingo's deeper role, not just in life, but in the afterlife. The dingo does not fight with teeth alone. He walks between worlds, with the spirits of fire and ash. He warned me when the shadow men came. And when I fell, he sang to the stars. Even Europe, cloaked in steel and castles, once relied on animal instincts. The Celts and Germans used boar-headed standards, mimicking the spiritual force of wild beasts. The Romans deployed war dogs, called canes pugnaces, with armor and spiked collars. In Norse sagas, berserkers believed they channeled the spirits of wolves and bears in battle. They wore the skins of animals not as trophies, but as transformation. One Norse berserker, remembered in tale, left behind these chilling words. They say I became the wolf. That I howled and killed without name. But it was not madness. It was the memory of blood, older than kings, deeper than frost. Why did so many cultures turn to animals in times of war? Was it power? Instinct? Spirit? Animals taught indigenous warriors something empires forgot, that war is not only about domination. It's about survival, honor, and the rhythm of the earth. To ride a horse, to follow a hound, to trust a falcon, is to remember that no one fights alone. Which animal warrior surprised you most? Have we lost the connection to the wild in our wars today? Share your thoughts below. And if this story stirred something in you, subscribe to Native Historian for more untold histories of the world's first peoples. Until then, stay curious.